Well, good afternoon. How are you all today? Welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I want to give you all something to think about. I suggest you think about it seriously uh, by asking you the question, or am I asking you the question, or am I suggesting the possibility? You decide that YouTube is a CIA operation. CIA, FBI, NSA, all that stuff, okay? Have you thought about that? I'm gonna start with a story today. I'm gonna take it back a few years and then bring it forward. Now, I don't mean all of the well, to an extent, you could include all the cute kitten videos and all that kind of stuff. But I'll put this thing together for you, and you think about it. Okay. I wasn't gonna do. I was thinking. Let me put it this way. I'm not gonna say I wasn't gonna do this. I have been thinking about whether to do this. All right. Today, a video popped up from a channel that I don't usually watch, but it pops up because I did watch a couple. It's called Valhalla. Valhalla is something else. I forget what, but Valhalla. You can check it out. He's a former SF guy who has been recently involved in kind of some of the some of the discussions about problems in the soft community. Okay, the SEALs and Tim Kennedy and other things like that. And he brought up something about somebody that many of you will know who he is. He had Mike Glover, who ran Fieldcraft. What was the name of his channel? It was a channel for a long time, Fieldcraft something or other. Again, not one that I usually watch. But he brought something up about him. There's a reason that I'm saying this, okay? And it's not to push the narrative on this, because I have no idea whether there's any truth to it or not, but it does fit in with what I'm going to tell you. And he reported that apparently Mike Glover has been arrested a second time. The first time he was arrested for spousal abuse, I think, something like that, and now abuse of a minor. Now, do not take that as the fact that he did. Just use that as information as my lead-in to what I'm about to tell you. Those of you who have been on YouTube for quite a while remember that I don't know how many years ago, but some years ago, there was a lot of chatter, a lot of talk on some of these channels, the preparedness channels, about we have to rise up and do something, right? We have to rise up and do something. A lot of them about 2A and gun rights and cold dead hands and all this kind of stuff. And I warned people, stop it. Most of the people who are among that group of we have to rise up and do something, well, they are agents provocateur. I won't get into it any more than that. Either they are employees of or snitches for, people, right? Remember way back in the day when they thought there were so many people in the Ku Klux Klan, right? They had these huge figures. How many people? There's all these thousands of people in the Ku Klux Klan. But when they took out all of the feds and informants, they found out, man, it wasn't that big an organization at all. It was full of informants and feds. Intelligence people, okay? Well, that's what I warned against. And whenever somebody would come on this channel and make one of these stupid things about, we have to rise up, all they were doing was they were trying to see who else would jump on and say, yeah, that's right. Yeah, we do. And then, bingo, your name gets put on a list, and and then many things could happen, right? But so I deleted all those people because hey, I'm an old hand at this, guys. I've been in the game. Well, some years ago, I saw a video, and I don't remember who all was on it, but I do remember that Sean Ryan was on it. You know how big Sean Ryan's gotten, right? I have made no bones about the fact that I'm not a fan. And it was one of these several soft guys sitting around a table and doing a pocket dump. EDC, right? Pocket dump. And I'll tell you, the stuff that he had was very unimpressive. I was not impressed with him. This isn't a slam on Sean Ryan. I'm going to tell you some truth here, okay? And then sometime after that, I saw one with him and Mike Glover that they did something together. And it was a $50 going to a Walmart and see how much you could get, to survive. You're cut away from home. You don't have anything on you. The world's collapsing. For $50, how much you got $50 cash in your pocket? How much can you get for $50? And so they went in and they got it. Mike Glover's stuff was pretty good. Pretty good. Sean Ryan's stuff was not. I'll just say, I'm trying to be kind here. But one of the things that Ryan put up was a crowbar. And he said, this is, to open up places, to get stuff, that people might have locked up. And of course, what he was implying was he was going to break into people's property and take their stuff. And Glover kind of looked at him like, really, man? I mean, and Ryan just went on. Yeah. Well, I made a video shortly after that, saying what I thought about that and how I didn't have any respect for that kind of thing. Oh, I got a few people coming on just telling me I was so horrible. How could I possibly denigrate Sean Ryan, a vet and a SEAL and all this kind of stuff? And I said, that has nothing to do with, whether I'm going to tell the truth. It's a moral standard that I'm going to go by, not whether the guy was a vet or a SEAL or anything else, right? Well, I had a lot of people come at me over that like I care. Yes. And the funny thing was, I said, who is this goober? Who is this guy? I would never watch. I watched one where he's talking about PTSD. I have a lot of empathy for for guys with PTSD because I dealt with all of that myself for many years. And so I didn't watch any more of his stuff. And then all of a sudden, he comes up, he's on this great set, amazing set. I mean, what his channel has grown to now, amazing set, very cool. I mean, far beyond what I thought Sean Ryan, would come up with on his own. Let me put that. You getting my drift here? And all of a sudden, he's got all these fantastic guests on. Well, fantastic. He's got some good ones on. For a lot, it's a lot of special ops guys going on and cops talking about war stories and things like that. Here's the thing, that really appeal, and I don't watch most of those. Matter of fact, I don't think I watch any of them, but that really appeal to so many men who are out there in the world who are all impressed with violence. Okay, I've done this before. The only people who are impressed with violence or who enjoy it or like it are either people who are they've become detached, or they have never experienced it. Okay, but to be honest, between the two, that's the majority of guys out there. For not that they're mentally detached, but they have never experienced it. And there's something in a man that kind of is drawn towards testing himself. I wonder if I've got what it takes, blah, blah, blah. And since most men don't involve themselves in these kinds of activities that put themselves in danger on a daily basis, they do it vicariously, either through watching movies or playing video games or going to fake wrestling or watching UFC or things like this. And they like that. And so a lot of the guests that Sean Ryan has on there appeal to the guys who have never done it themselves, but like to hear all this stuff and think, oh, dude, that was so cool, bro. It was so cool, man. He just went through there and like he was stacking bodies, right? Yeah. Well, that's the appeal. And I mean, and now Ryan has had on other types of guests, and there's a couple of those that I have watched. Uh, but his channel has exploded. Compare that to how he started. Is he that great? Well, not in my opinion. So I'll leave this to you to make your own. Think about this, guys. This is for those of you who are willing to think. Okay. And then he's on what's Megyn Kelly. I saw that he was on Megyn Kelly. I said, wow, man. I mean, and I think he's been on Fox News or something. I don't know. And I said, Megyn Kelly, wow. And so I switched that on, and I said, and I don't really watch her, but the reason I watched her, and he was on her show, is that I thought, wow, this is a very odd duo to be on a podcast together. Okay, and when I see something odd, I watch it. And what I saw him doing was talking about how when he was in South America, he had set up his own drug running business. And she was kind of, oh, really? What? And I'll tell you, there's something attractive about that to women. And when I was undercover working in narcotics, it was amazing to me how many women would come up to me. Let me put it this, I'd be in a biker, well, in a half-ass biker bar. We'd go to a bar that was half bikers and then half, yuppies wanting to come down and on the edge. It was kind of a country bar. And I looked scroungy, and I looked, well, some of you have seen my picture when I was undercover. You wouldn't believe how many girls would come up to me and ask if they could have a ride on my bike. Nutso, man, nutso. They were just lucky that I was really a nice guy and really a cop and not really somebody that would take them out in the woods. So people are strange. And, why more of them don't get in trouble is just, because God protects idiots. But what I saw on the show with Ryan and Megyn Kelly was that he was talking about how he set up his own, drug empire essentially. Now, whether he was telling the truth or lying, I don't care enough to get down into to really investigating and seeing whether that was true, but I do know that he was talking about it and he had a smile on his face when he was talking about it. Do I doubt it? Well, I'll tell you what. I'm not going to get into it, okay? Not going to get into it. So now, Sean Ryan, who started off as, in my opinion, not somebody to watch, Mike Glover, and he has gotten to the, he has grown. He is the epitome, right? In the YouTube world. And he's being promoted outside the YouTube world now. And Mike Glover, who was really a voice of reason in many ways, there was a big maturity difference there. And I don't know whether it was because Ryan was a SEAL and Glover was Special Forces, Army. Because Army SF, to be honest, there's there's a much greater maturity level there than there is in SEALs. I don't mean all SEALs, but I mean the senior, well, I'll leave it there. And so Ryan is just skyrocketing, and now Mike Glover is being dumped on. Are these charges legit, or are they trumped up? I would put that out there for some serious consideration, because he was absolved of the first one. He was absolved of the first. It turned out to be a phony situation, the one about spousal abuse. Okay, but we do know also something about Glover. Do you remember when he was putting together, and it's been some years ago, by some years, I'm not sure, 4 or 5, something like that. And some of you will know. Go ahead and feel free to put in the comments. He was putting together this, or trying to, a nationwide kind of network of people who were very pro-patriotic, shall we say that? When all the gun control and the 2A stuff was going so strong, and he was putting together a network that was against government intrusion. He was starting to really get into more and more of the preparedness. And as a result of that, he's getting hit with these things. Now, I have no idea whether the second charge is true. I don't judge people until until I know enough about it to make a determination, and I don't. I doubt anybody else out there does yet either. But the thing that I found interesting was that Mike Glover, who is obviously an intelligent person, is being dumped on, and Sean Ryan, who really I didn't think brought, he wasn't bringing a lot to the table. I'm not taking away the fact that he was a SEAL. Okay, not taking that away, but that doesn't give a guy extra points in my book. Okay, I know a lot of people who are exceptional at many things, and to be honest, some of them are just dirtbags. I'm not saying that he is. I don't know him. But the whole thing about this is pay attention. And this goes a little bit beyond Sean Ryan and Mike Glover. Pay attention to the channels out there. Pay attention also to the ones who are always telling you how bad things are. I've been on this horse here now for a couple of weeks. This consistent negativity that's being put out in the preparedness channels is done for a reason. Well, first off, yeah, there are just some negative people, but it also has it can have a secondary purpose, and maybe more than that, and that is to drive those people who are already kind of on the edge, to drive them deeper and deeper and deeper into their negativity and despair and everything like this. And that is a classical psyop. And then also it helps to bring the bubbles to the top, for the people who might be looking for the bubbles and saying, and so when somebody gets on there and says, yeah, it's terrible, and the government is this and the Fed is that and then this and that and that, and the bubble counter up there is going, there's a bubble, there's a bubble, there's a bubble, we see you. Are you getting my drift here? Do we suspect that there is a very close relationship between the major media companies, the social media conglomerates, and the intelligence octopus? Shot placement is everything. Yes, there is. There is. So whether they are actively using it, which they could be, or whether they are passively using it, meaning whether the intelligence communities are actively using social media, which they could be, or whether they're passively using it, which they're absolutely, okay, that not only can it be affecting you, or maybe I should put it the other way around, not only is it identifying different people who are watching and commenting on certain types of channels, but it's affecting the people who watch them. Let he with ears hear, let he with eyes see, right? Think about this. This is, well, like I said, as most of mine are, this is for the thinkers. But think about it. And guard yourself. Guard yourself about being affected by certain messages that are out there, or by revealing yourself to certain groups or entities. Okay, all right. That's why even though I do occasionally come on and talk about some negative things that are happening, it is not what I have any interest in doing, is just pumping consistent bad news and negativity, because there is a psychological price to be paid when that's what you consume all the time. I know a lot of people will say, well, I like to be informed. Yeah, okay. Well, you can be informed without slurping up the crap all the time. Use your head. Be level-headed. Have a degree of maturity and judgment, and don't let these places psyop you. Okay. All right. Hey, that's my message. Be careful. Watch. Pay attention to what's going on around you. And always ask yourself, does this make sense? Does this make sense or not? And then be your own judge. All right, hey, if you want to read my books, because I bet there's still a couple of people out there who haven't, you can find them down there. It's the Stonemont series, and it is about positivity. It is about approaching things the right way, according to a moral standard and personal responsibility, and following those fundamental principles that God has set down for us as people, and not being manipulated by by powers that we should not allow to manipulate us. And the links are right down below. It's the Stonemont series. You can get them through Amazon, and you can get them also through me if you'd like. And I love when you do that, because I get to sign them for you and put a little note in there, and you can get those from me directly through stonemont.us. You can also get this mug there if you'd like, and a bunch of others. Okay, so that's my kind of word of warning on this. Now that I've done this, I don't have to wonder anymore whether or not I'm going to do it. And pay attention, okay? And remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. And I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.